another motherfucking one. But as you see, I got the one and only guest, reoccurring guest, the guest who, you know what I'm saying, who got perspectives on lock and game and everything. But, without further ado, please let the people know who you are.
What's up, everybody? Appreciate you again, Izzy, for having me on the live stream with you. But
Hell
this
yeah.
your boy Jonathan, straight from the HTX. Holla at me, hit me up on the back end, but I'll give you all my information later. But my boy got a fire topic to go ahead and address to y'all, so I'm gonna help him along the way, just give a little of my insight to it. But he always coming up with the fire idea, so y'all subscribe, like the channel, support my bro.
Facts. Because a lot of things, just to fill in a people when they're coming in and everything, make sure y'all get the lights up when y'all pull up in this bitch. But one of the biggest things that you and I speak of specifically is about things that a lot of men don't usually experience, or they want to experience and then they experience that for the wrong reasons, right? Their whole thing
Right.
is fixated on the perspective of, like, I'm doing this for the validation. I'm doing this because I want to do it. Now,
Mhm.
again, going to the title, the importance of being him. Jonathan actually gave me the analogy of him hustling, improving, maintaining. I created my own, which was honesty, integrity, masculinity. But also with speaking on the importance of him, I'm gonna fill you in a little bit on it, Jonathan, because there was a live that I did, and I was talking about how men always have a choice, right? So,
Right.
like when I was speaking on my experience and how I started performing or creating this, I'm like, I'm that motherfucker. Everybody going, I'm him,
Right.
pop my, just bravado and shit going
Yeah.
out there, and then okay, yeah, you him, you got it like that. You selling on shows or like whatever on the scale everybody wants to they're at, but then there's always that next choice to be like, okay, am I still gonna only want to feel like that motherfucker, just want the title, or am I gonna evolve my perspective with it and enhance it? Because once you become him, it's not just I'm him, like feeling fresh about it. It's about responsibility in the words, actions, discipline that comes further with it. Not even just in dating, of course, but with social interactions with people that's younger than you, people that can also be older than you, but even working at a company. But there's an importance of being that person because everybody wants to feel or wants a title of what it's like to be that guy, right? But they only want it for the feeling, not because they actually know what comes with it. That's why a lot of people will either go with it, continue. Like that's why when you see a lot of people fall off, right? The people
Right.
that fall off the grid and everything. But give me your perspective a little bit. By the way, shout out to everybody pulling up. Go ahead and subscribe and like to your boy. We in the road to the top. We talking about a great topic. But after you, bro.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a great topic that you bring up. The concept of just him by itself obviously speaks volume to like the character of the person that you're trying to become, or the
Mhm.
person that you already are once you have all those morals and values and characteristic traits instilled in you already. But the thing is, what people don't understand is that is a progress that you have to go on a journey with yourself in order
Yeah.
to get there. You're just not going to be born with it overnight. It's like you have a mentor, you have people that have shown you the way, that show you the right way. Let me correct that, the right way to go ahead and find your own true identity of how you want to live your life, not the
Mhm.
perspective of society, what your parents are thinking, what your girlfriend's thinking, what other family fans or anybody else. Like it's your own philosophy of like how you want to live your own life. So
Yeah.
once you be able to discover that within yourself by taking those new journeys, discovering new things, you start to identify those pieces of the puzzle, which we call life, into
Yeah.
your own identity of what you want it to become. Just because someone's living that lifestyle don't mean that you got to live that same lifestyle.
Mhm.
You can live a different one based off your own identity. And I think that, like I said, that him concept, that's where it comes from because it's the originality of you being that one person that stands out from everybody else.
Yeah. And I remember when I was learning, especially my mentor, cause when and I give a little story too about like my mentor and everything and why I asked him to be my mentor. But he was just the pull, not even just for women, but the influence, the confidence, just everything was just it was there. And once we started talking about it a little bit more, he was like, "Yeah, you know what? I'll mentor you." When we started gravitating up, because I was still on a good level, but it was more that came with just being great with women or just being great with having a conversation, being confident, being competent in work, or whatever the case is. It was about like, okay, well, who are you and why do you want to be him? Because
Right.
that's the thing. And when in my live, I was talking about two words that is the awakening of a man, which is why me? Because you have to ask yourself why me in a lot of cases, not in life itself, because being him is only an extension, like you said, of who you are internally. So if you want to be this grand person in this, or the guy in the work field, or you want to be super popular, you want to be influential, you want to be the biggest artist in the world, you got to get down to the core level of, but why me though? And then understand that, and what's the reasons am I going for? Am I going for it to just want to feel good, want to be in front of the TV screen so my ex can see me all the time? Like there's so many factors that go into, and being him, like you said, the pieces of the puzzle, having that identity about you, because once that becomes concrete within, everything else becomes an extension outwardly. Like having to be him in these ways, and you're like, damn, I didn't know it was gonna come so effortlessly. I didn't know it was gonna happen that quick. I didn't know I was gonna have this pool. Yeah, it happens because you started to learn yourself rather than learn what the world sees as him to be. Now, there's definitely examples, but the
Right.
world can only see what the world reflects as the masses, not as the individual. Because truly being him doesn't really, it cares about the world, but it cares more about himself, because that's what made him to be him. Even if you break down the word him is self, him is you.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's the
Right.
individual. And that was my couple. That was just my perspective on it, because I like to break it down about, just the importance of being him, and having a voice. Because when I was talking in the live, I was talking about being a king, right, and having your own kingdom. But the kingdom is only an extension of the king, and is built off honest and true foundation of what are my raw desires, and then because the raw desires even evolve, they're, which is meant to, because this is the blocking point for every man, any individual that wants to shoot for the stars. Their whole blocking point is based on the perception of, okay, am I gonna only keep it at this ground level of feeling and thinking, or will I evolve my perspective and be like, I'm gonna take this further? Because it's like that quote of, before I didn't have much to lose, now I have a lot to lose. And the thing too, I was saying that it's not just you got this reputation, status, the materialized stuff, which still matters, but the
Right.
thing that you really have to lose is your integrity. You're losing that part, because that's a reflection. Once you put that in line and you're seen as him, you're him, you're doing it. There's a lot more that comes with eyes, envy, jealousy. It's a beautiful thing, and I'm glad that you're here so you can expand on it a little bit. And if you haven't experienced yourself, or anything you want to share upon, like just being him, or just like that crucial moment when you're like, damn, there's actually more to this shit. Like a small example could be a manager, bro. Like just a manager. Like you want to be just like a team member, or you're like, oh, I could be a manager. But wait, yeah, manager's cool. I get more money. People see me in a different way. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
there's a lot more responsibility that comes with even being that. It's just
Exactly.
amazing.
And that's good that you have brought it up, because even for that position, as far as leadership in general, my brother had just got a promotion into a manager position. So he
Mm-hmm.
was actually asking me, he was like, hey, what are some tips that you can give me about, just being a manager, how well I get everyone to buy into the system? I said, one, I said, if you're going to be into the leadership role, you have to show first before telling. I said,
Mm-hmm.
so basically, I said, that's going to come from you. If you're busting your ass and you're doing what everything that needs to do that's requiring you, because you're reflecting yourself. I said, so if you're going to reflect yourself, show them who you are, how you dictate and everything. So then that way they can see that example in real time, like, oh shit, like he's busting his ass, he's doing all this. It kind of, it may inspire some other people, like, what got you to this level of where like you
Facts.
working so hard, so diligent, or like, what made you want to grow into the department or wherever you're at. And like I said, that's a whole new gateway you didn't open up for that new person just based off of you being that
Facts.
example for them.
Mm-hmm.
Other thing is, it's like when I was telling them, I said, you gotta like also like be on the same playing field as the people that you're working around. So like, don't assume that you know everything and don't assume that you don't know anything. I said you
Mm-hmm.
need to be like where like if they have something, be able to be, have that mindset where be like, hey, you doing pretty good at this job. Like, show me the bits and tricks of how you get that done. So I can show maybe another team member that's kind of struggling so we can kind of bounce on ideas, like involve them into it.
Yeah.
Like basically like, when we talk about bringing people, like bringing girls into your world,
Yeah.
bring your employees into your world too and show them like, hey, you're contribution matters over here. So show me, how we can get everybody on the same page to work. Because at the end of the day, like we all need each other in a direct way or indirect way. And how you
Hmm.
bring that out of different people is like how you have those conversations. Not the belittling, but also like kind of like letting their light shine too with how
Hmm.
you need that perspective in what you're doing around you. Because you
Facts.
may be good at something, and I was like, damn, I really need that shit. So I'm
Yeah.
just like, hey, so I'm talking to you, seeing what you can do over here, and then vice versa. Like I said, I might be good at something that that you may need. You was like, hey, he really good at this. Let me go ahead and pick his brain and figure out how he got to this, this topic or how he got to like this avenue of life. But
Hmm.
it starts with that, like that's like I told my brother, that open door policy. You got to be an open book where like they can come to you, and you got to be
Hmm.
an open book for them to like kind of like help you write the new script of how everything needs to go. Don't change your identity. It still be who you are, but know
Facts.
how to find those different like avenues to get them to, you know, come into the light with you instead of shying away where they just don't feel comfortable or they can't really perform how they want to do because they scared of the limelight. You got to tell them it's okay.
Yeah. And before I say what I need to say, by the way, my name is All Star Izzy. I'm here with Jonathan right now. Please get the likes up if you haven't liked and subscribe. We on the road to the top. Now, another thing I do want to add to that because I was thinking about it, right? Because being him really is like it's just as a leader. To be honest, it's like it's basically I think it's an awakened man. Like it's the next step to man. It's like okay,
Yeah.
you're this, and then you're like okay, yeah, man, and then you hit that next point, which I'll see you at the type of mentality, but not a lot of people can get to that point of that. So I think that's what like the next
Right.
step of evolution is being him because it's not about the praise or anything. But one thing I was just thinking about as you were saying that because in my experience, a lot is with being that individual him, like that motherfucker. The whole thing is that like you said, being open minded or being like that open door, being him isn't a superior being. It's the only thing that makes it superior is because I'm constantly choosing and I'm focused.
So it's,
This is what separates me from the masses or other individuals that's like this. And I was and now as bringing it up, I was saying that the only thing that makes the average man versus him is what they do in 24 hours. In 24 hours, there's so much to do, but because we all have the same 24, we all have the same human capacity, whatever the case is, we all breathe oxygen. The only difference between you and I is the things that we do. And then what comes with it, I can either be a dickhead about it, or which I think is an unevolved version of being him, but him is more so I'm gonna be a light to everybody else. Cause him is inspiring. Him is an inspiration to others to show, like you said, you putting a light bulb in somebody else's back. They're thinking, oh, if he could do it, I could do it too. Which is no disrespect. It's just to say that you've shown them a different way. Cause truthfully, everybody wants to like they want to move up some way somehow.
right.
Not everybody wants to. If you want to stay mediocre, I guarantee there's been one point, or there will be one point in your life where you're like, I don't want to do this no more. I'm tired of my life. I need to keep going. There's going to be that point in life. And the one thing he speaks to, of course, the individual that's a front, but he speaks to that unevolved version that he wants or that vision that he wants to be. And I think it's inspiring even to hear just to see because I've helped and assisted many people around me by just having conversation with them, by them bringing up certain things they want to having and then having the inspiration not only because they are inspired by me, which I tell them, if you're inspired by me, I'm grateful for that. But you should be grateful and proud of yourself because you did something about that action. You
Right.
did something about it. I didn't make you go and write up a thesis or write up a vision board. You did that because you were inspired. So you took action, which you need to be proud of. And that part right there, yeah, people can be like, oh, but that whole like chosen one thing. The only reason I would say I'm a chosen one is because I choose myself. I think that's just like the honest thing. When you choose,
Yeah.
because it's not like this. I don't know. There's this beacon of light. They can be, but people who choose themselves are the ones who become him, the ones
Hmm.
who inspire, the ones who are able to lead. and bring them to a place to, just open up themselves to evolve to that next step. Because only evolve people on people who are evolving. Because I don't want to even put a limitation on evolution, but evolving people help to let others see that they can also evolve to the next level. And
Right.
there's importance to that. And before I ask you this question, I'm gonna end off with this real quick: is that even with the inspiration and as great as it sounds for everyone that's gonna listen to this, is listening to this, is that even if there is that inspiration, just don't ever forget that there's always on the other end is envy and jealousy that comes with being a light in this world, being him. You gotta have motherfucking haters when you're him. Like there's no other way around it. You can't. I get it. You want the best for everybody, but not everybody wants the best for you, or even wants the best for themselves, which is their own projection. But
Yeah.
what do you think are some important factors of being him, though, in your perspective?
Well, you kind of like said some of it in when you're your own definition. One of the
Mhm.
biggest factors is like your integrity that you have within yourself. Is
Yeah.
this the ability to say what you're gonna do and do what you're gonna say, like without having to go through like other mitigations or other like conflict with yourself or obstacles where you kind of get in this mindset where you're just like, man, and you start questioning yourself, like,
Yeah.
hey, am I going to be able to do this? Do I have the right things to do it? Like, you have to shift your mindset. You got to also like tell yourself, like, you was asking yourself, like, why me? Why this? You could
Hmm.
be asking yourself too, why not me? Why, because I'm built for this.
Facts.
Like, why am I going through this? Why not am I not
Facts.
going through this? I'm going through this for a reason, for self-development, for growth, so I can see how
Hmm.
much of the freight I can actually push. Because,
Hmm.
that's where you grow. It's not because like you're doing the same level over and over and over again. Like repetition matters. But once you get to a certain point where you have that repetition of like your comfortability for like level one, you need to go on to level two. You can't just
Yeah.
stay on level one because there's no growth there. So that
Facts.
part of like this being him is also identifying those changes and your perspective around you. Is like, hey, you know what? I've been down this road a couple of times already. Things look
Yeah.
too familiar. I can tell you what's going to happen at this point, and this point, all by 2 o'clock.
Facts.
You need to go into the next block. You got to experience the next new thing. I said
Hmm.
because without it, your perspective is not growing. You're hindering your growth. So that's a part of him is this being able to put yourself into new situations and taking away from those new situations what you want to build into your own identity. So that
Hmm.
way, like I said, when you're paving out your own pavement, you're
Yeah.
like, hey, this is what it is. This is how I like it, and I'm gonna keep it this way for me. But every time I go to a new block, it's a new payment.
Yeah.
You keep leveling it up like that. You got the whole aspect of, for your H, for honesty. I got it for hustling.
Yeah.
They in the same way they connected because you got to have the honesty
Facts.
with yourself to be a hustler. Like you gonna
Yeah.
go out,
Facts.
you gonna go out there and get it or not? Because there's
Yeah.
other people out there while you. And I'm not saying like you shouldn't take rest and everything like that, but there's other people out
Hmm.
there too, busting their ass to get into the position that they want to be.
Facts.
Like you can either be inspired or you can, just sit back and just watch from the bleachers. But
Yep.
just know you can't complain when somebody else take the spot that you want.
Yeah. No, for real. And there was this quote that was something similar to that. Great to see you, Angie. Great to see you, Rico. Shout out to 808. There was this quote that was kind of something similar like that. Most the people who mainly criticize are those who are in the sideline, anyways. Those who are on the bench pointing the fingers. I often say, would you rather be the person that's pointing the fingers or being the one that's they're pointing the fingers at? Because
Right.
I would rather be, they pointing the fingers at me. Because that just shows that I'm living my life, and a little bit going back into, just being him and evolving. Because that's the thing, that being him isn't just a concrete title. That shit
Yeah.
evolves. Even from him, what's next? A fucking
Right.
himcho, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just you know what I'm saying? Like you just keep
Yeah.
evolving, and that's the thing. That's the thing. What gets most men fixated, because I have this rule that I created. It's basically about, and it's a universal law, anyways. But the thing is that stay neutral in wins or losses, though, because the thing is that you don't want to. You can feel good about winning something. You can
Right.
feel great about losing something, or the opposite side. You can feel bad about you get too down on yourself. The
Yeah.
thing with being neutral is that if I win, I'm glad I won, but the game is not over yet. There's still more work to do. If I lose,
Mhm.
damn, okay, I could have done better, but I'm not gonna get too sad about it because now I can see a respect for me to learn.
Right.
Staying neutral is what helps evolve that I learn. And one thing I did like that you said was like, instead of why, like you could say why me, but I like that you said why not me though, because that's something people don't be thinking. Cause like why not me? Cause that's like with my curiosity was basically saying like, especially when I was younger and wanting to learn and evolve more, was just, it's still now, but just like why can't
Yeah.
I? Like just why not? Like let me try it out for me. Let me see where it takes me. And curiosity, I believe, is what helps lead to another step. But just like again, even the curiosity of why not me though? Like truthfully, anybody can be him in the
Exactly.
truth, right?
Hmm.
But not everybody going to, because like we talked about, there is an evolved perspective that comes with being that, and you have to be ready to take on to this next step. And y'all says, when I lose, I still won. Perspective, yeah, facts. I mean, that's how it goes. See the importance for him. Another thing too that because I know your okay, so your eye for him was improving, and
Hmm.
mine was integrity, which is hand in hand. Honestly, everything correlates anyways. Because as you improve, there's integrity that comes with improving. You know what I mean? And you even improve your integrity. Your integrity improves. It's a beautiful light too that comes with it. Because I really just can't. I really just wrote things that come into my head. But now as I'm speaking about it, the integrity of being him is that you may have to finesse a little bit here and there on some little things, but not on all shit. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
but integrity is definitely a huge thing, because the one thing with being him, like this is what I talked about. Death is at the power of the tongue. You got like people, your words hold weight. The
Yeah.
things you say hold weight. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like people will take in what you say, especially and I like to go back to the analogy of being a manager, because most people can relate to workplaces, correct?
Right.
And that, as being a manager, gotta have integrity. You gotta be able to improve and show improvement, and to see others around you that need to improve. Like it's like the all seeing eye of perspective, which
Right.
really is game. It's just like you see everything all around it, but
Around you. Hmm.
yeah, the integrity is important. Having to be able to know that your words really hold weight. Even and I want people that's not even wanting to be managers or wanting to be him, or even this leader,
Right.
still understand that your words hold weight. Integrity still matters. Listen, even if you can lie to that one salesman that wants to sell light bulbs, and you're like, no, no, thank you. I already bought something from like Home Depot, whatever. Cool, lie. But when this aspect, I want you to still understand not even integrity with the world, but integrity with yourself. Don't lie to the one person that you always see in front of you. And that's important for people to hear, because often I think more people want to be honest with others than themselves, which is so weird. But the way the world works. All right. And
It is.
M, you put maintaining, and please, you can come in anytime that you want to speak, by the way. If you got anything to say,
Okay.
you're more than welcome.
I got you. Got you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But M, maintaining, what did you mean by that for maintaining though?
So when I mean like maintaining it, it's like a lot of times people get the things that they wanted, but
Hmm.
once they get it, they don't know how to maintain it. Like you don't know how
Yeah.
to keep everybody around you like in the same position, or you see their growth and you don't know how to maintain them to get to another point in their aspect. You only know how to keep them from point A, but you don't know
Yeah.
how to elevate them to keep them in point B, which is why I said the improvement part for the eye, and keep them in point B as a maintaining until they're ready to go on to the next level. And a lot of
Facts.
people don't know how to do that. So like when they get into that dynamic, or when they figure out like, oh shit, this actually worked. Now
Hmm.
that it actually worked, what are you going to do now to maintain it?
Facts.
So if you can't maintain anything, you can't go on to the improvement. You
Hmm.
can't, and that's why I had all those all connected. The hustling, the improvement, the maintaining. Like you got to start somewhere. Yes, you got the hustle mindset to keep going to improve. Okay, you
Hmm.
got it. Now can you maintain it? So for instance, if I'm on the street and I'm selling CDs, I
Yeah.
sell five. I sell five Monday. All right, cool. Can I maintain that same consistency moving
Facts.
forward, or can
Hmm.
I improve on it? It depends on how well I'm hustling to do it. So
Hmm.
if I'm just like, if I put in like, let's just say I put in 5 hours, I sold five CDs that day, right? But
Yeah.
then Tuesday I only put in 1 hour, right? and then I'm kind of like upset, like, damn, I only got 1 hour to improve. I mean, 1 hour to do this, but
Right.
I wasn't doing anything that I was supposed to do the same way I was doing to sell those other 5 CDs.
Hmm.
So my mindset needs to shift to be like, okay, what, and kind of realization with yourself, like, get integrity. What did I do? What am I doing differently to not see the same results that I did back then? Is it because of the day? Is it because I'm not putting in enough work? Is it because I'm not putting in enough hours? Did I change my script? You got to go all back to the drawing board and figure out, like, hey, what's working for you and what's not. And that's a part of like the improvement stuff. You got to figure out what works for you and
Yeah.
what doesn't. Because like I said, it's the same thing when you're talking to a girl. You might say something and I might say something.
Yeah.
It's two completely different things. But the thing is like, I got to improve on my aspect of like how I view myself for my integrity of what I
Hmm.
want to tell her. The same
Yeah.
way what you want to tell her is going to be like your standpoint of based off of you.
Yeah.
The thing is, the whole maintaining thing is the key concept. Like I said, when you get it, you got to make sure like the foundation of all of this is set for you. Hey, I gotta wake up at 6 o'clock, go sell these CDs. I gotta turn around, go back to work, and then after that, I'm gonna go back and sell these CDs again. You gotta
Yeah.
have that. You gotta have be. I mean, have that mindset too to maintain all of it. Know what's working for you. Know what's not working for you. So that way, when you come into the improvement aspect, you're just like, all right, cool. I got what's working for me. A, B, and C working for me, but D, E, and F not working for me. Why D, E, and F is going? Am I going to give it a second chance? And if you decide to do that, understand, like, you taking that risk to find a new perspective. It might work out and be like, okay, cool. I found out that D works for me now. Now the hustling part comes in. It's like, okay, A, B, C, and D are working for me. How do I maintain it now? Okay, I'm gonna maintain it this way. I gotta bust some ass to get to this spot and go over here because I know when I'm selling my CDs, A and B sell off in the morning time, but C and D sell off at nighttime. How you gonna manage
Exactly, and it comes with it. And I really like. I'm gonna put that in the title too. Hustling, improve, maintaining. That shit hard as hell. No,
it?
but I like that a lot too, because even A, B, C, and D, being able to help you, which comes with even maintaining that, but also improving them. Okay, A, B, C, and D is good. Let's see how long it's gonna go for to be good, and then there may be a point where you're like, okay, B, what I'm saying, I can see a little B is starting to be a little, but let's see how
Mhm.
to improve it. How to improve that part. But see, that's the that shit. It's just mind blowing every
Right.
time I
And the
think
crazy
about it.
thing is too about it too is sometimes the improvement is
Yeah.
also removing the stuff that is no longer working for you.
Yeah, exactly. There was something that you said too when you were speaking. You said, like when even when we talking to a lady, we speaking on
Yeah,
what
two
how we
different.
say
Yeah,
what you say, but that's just a view of yourself. But you see how crazy it is because even our words were different, but it still correlates. It's just a perspective of how we what we thought right then and there, and I think that's just important to what people see. I want people should write their own analogy of him and what that means to them. I want to make that a little task of my community. Even for the people that sit here, make a ask yourself, what do you think him is to you, or
yeah,
her for the ladies,
right. For the
you
ladies,
get,
yep.
yeah, her for you. But what what I'm saying is it, nah, let me not. you know yeah. Nah, okay, so I know my M was masculinity, because
Mhm.
I just think but that's also, you got to maintain a masculinity. But for me, masculinity was just that. I put that in the last one because I think there's just an importance of maintaining masculinity, having masculinity, speaking and holding your word to it, being honest with what you're doing, having that action drive of masculinity. Because
Right,
not everybody wants to display masculinity to be polarized off. I think some
right.
people can be polarized for masculinity, but it's not as
Not
bad as
everybody
what
wants
people to
that.
think about it.
Yeah, they don't want that position.
Yeah, exactly. And having to a small example, having to say the bad part. What I'm saying? Having to be that guy to be
Right,
like, okay, well, this is what's gonna happen, but you know, that doesn't mean let me say the bad things to be masculine. No, it's just that
right,
you have to be able to be the bearer of bad news and good news. That doesn't mean you can't say good news. It's just that you are able to maintain yourself as you're saying it, because you know what, this is what it is. You cut off that part of the emotional part. You may feel like, damn, it's fucked up, but you got to still deliver
right.
what you got to deliver in that moment, no matter what it is. because you're staying true to the direction of what's best for you. And that's masculine, staying true to this
Yes,
direction.
sir.
Yeah, devotion to your vision is, or to yourself, is what I like to say, because I tell people to commit to life, like commit to yourself first
Yeah.
and foremost. I think that's like the highest form of appreciation any person should really have. One of the highest forms, let me say that, because I know there's a lot of them, but masculinity definitely, I think it's definitely a part of being him. For ladies, it could be manicures. I don't know, but you get y'all ladies get the gist and stuff. Another thing that I put in was discipline. Obviously, I feel like that's self-explanatory, but a little bit with discipline. I can speak on it, and you're more than welcome to jump in if you like. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
being just disciplined, it was just, I think that's just the whole point of everything. Gracias. Ya tú sabes, Mexico. Appreciate you seeing you, Steph. I got my boy Jonathan with me. You know what I mean? But yeah, discipline is a very necessary tool in this world. Having to maintain, it's like, you're going through that dark tunnel and then there's the light, basically, type of mentality, that most people don't really, they know it to see it, but the thing is, the light throughout the at the end of the tunnel is not even like an end result. The light is you. You're just
Yeah.
going through this tunnel that you have to learn through. You know what I mean? And you
Right.
just you got to continue to keep peeling off the layers of yourself, growing new layers of yourself, planting new seeds, having to take out the dead roots of certain things. But there's discipline that requires to becoming him, because it's not just having. There's pros to being him, because I don't want people to think that it's such a.
Well,
I don't like, oh my God, this is so
uncomfortable.
difficult. Yeah, right. Like, it's not. It can be, which uncomfortability is a necessity of the pursuit of greatness. But it's not just this uncomfortable thing. It's a beautiful thing. Like, you're like, well, what I'm
Right.
saying. I be having a good time. But at the same time, with everything that we say, just know that there's always another yin and yang to everything too. Discipline doesn't take away from having fun. You can have
Right.
fun. That shit, you could pop your shit and everything, but discipline is one of the key components to everything. A small example. I'm doing a 365, so I'm posting every day this year. Either going live, posting YouTube video, whatever. Whole thing is that my vision for it is to just, I want to see what I get out of this for myself. I
Yeah.
got visions, I got direction. Let's do it. My discipline is making sure that I post something every single day. Every single time. And there's times where it could be a little later, but that's because I still got a life outside of this. But at
Right.
the same time, I'm keeping the discipline and I'm keeping in my head, I'm not missing a day. I'm not missing any time. You're gonna see my face every single day, whether you like it or not. But that's the discipline that requires in this shit.
Yeah, that's the commitment that you made with yourself. We gonna go
Yes.
live these 365 days and make sure like
Yep.
there's gonna be a post or anything like that. But like I said, even then, you can just break it down to into simple metrics. It's like, are you I can just say like this, you making up your
Mhm.
bed every day. Like you like, hey,
Yeah.
every morning I wake up, when I get out of bed, I'm gonna make my day. But you gotta
Yeah.
understand, like,
Facts.
once you break that commitment with yourself, what are you indirectly or directly telling yourself?
Yes.
So like when you run into the world, you wonder why, like, hey, why am I meeting all these like, disconnected or people that have like these, I want to say mental issues, but like don't have a really lot of stuff going on for themselves, or they're just very distracted easily. Gotta ask yourself the same thing. But at the same time, as the saying goes, so even flies like honey. So like, you got
Facts.
to, even if you that light in the darkness, people are always going to gravitate to you. The thing is like, how are you going to move within that gravitation or pull that everyone's coming around you? Like, are you
Facts.
going to be able to weed out the people that are like, hey, you know what? I've seen this so many times. I know where I'm going. This is not the direction I want to go in. So,
Mm-hmm.
like that commitment that you have with yourself is also, like I said, indirectly shown or directly shown to other people. People
Mm-hmm.
try to throw you off your pathway all the time.
All the time.
How committed are you to stay to your vision of what you want? You
Yeah.
know, and there's a whole bunch of ways to get to your avenue, but the thing is like, are you going to take that obligation to find that answer for yourself, or are you just going
Mm-hmm.
to just listen to what other people are telling you because they're trying to throw you off your game? You got to understand too, not all advice is good advice.
Facts. And sometimes the advice that you say is to yourself, if you're not, even the advice that you say to yourself, it could not even be the best advice. for
Right.
some for a
Mhm.
lot of people, really, not even for some, but a lot of people, because if you're not if you're one of those people that tell people that this is what you should do, which usually the elders really do it, which they be like, oh, this is what you should do, but most of them just live in a place of regret. Their
Mhm.
their peace is wise, but themselves are not a reflection of what they're saying. But that doesn't mean you can't take it. It's just that sometimes when even people they don't follow their own wisdom. They don't follow their own direction and shit. And sometimes even evolving and being true to your vision for people that's listening and will listen is that it's not just staying just firm in this one direction. The one direction, the true direction could be, I want to learn a lot in myself and evolve, right?
You're right.
That's the direction. Now, the routes and avenues can be completely different. I might motherfucking be a snowboarder in 2 years. I don't know. I might be in a
Mhm.
surfing competition and to win $2 million. I don't know. What if I just wanted to do it because I wanted to just learn what I could put myself in position to do? What if I wanted to just learn to put myself in a leadership position to see what I get out of it? The curiosity that brings. Because I don't want people to think, okay, I gotta be this businessman. But even things can grow from there. But knowing and even discipline itself, but wanting to evolve is knowing how to pivot too. You got to know what's dead.
Mhm.
What's the dead end corners? Okay, I keep hitting a roadblock, but why? But I
Right.
think that this is my direction. But okay, if you
Yep.
keep hitting a dead corner, then what's going on? You know?
Right. You can bring that same philosophy into women. You set up the date, everything like that.
Facts.
You don't get no answer for her. Hey, it's time. It's time to pivot and move on. You
Yeah.
you 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 got the signs. The signs
Hmm.
ain't there, so you need to, like I said, pivot. Go back to the drawing board. See what's going on with it.
Hmm.
Reinitiate. What you need to do. Try it again. And
Yeah.
then, like I said, through that experience of the trials and the tribulations and everything and the learning experience, you get to understand, certain things, the consistency of like the women that you are speaking to, their behavior patterns, how they talk to you. Like you get to see all these different perspectives. And it's the same thing about life in general. Like you wake up, you go throughout your day, whether it's through your job, hanging out with your friends, you see the pattern that's in front of you. Now,
Hmm.
within that pattern that you're seeing, is that the pattern that you want, or is that the pattern that you're trying to avoid? Because
Yeah.
there can be a positive pattern, there can be a
That's
negative
a good
pattern.
one.
So you
Yeah.
got to understand, like, hey, this pattern I'm going through ain't it. Like, you trying
Yeah.
to quit something and you still hanging out with, like I said, your friends or your homeboys or any other body that's smoking around you or anything like that, and you still putting yourself with them, you're not breaking the cycle. You still in the same pattern that you were in first. The only thing is now you're making it in a way like harder for yourself to be around it because you're
Hmm.
trying to do something that they're not trying to do. So
Exactly.
for people growing up, and this is like for the younger audience that's listening, like peer pressure for y'all is like kind of like dopamine in a way. Like y'all like it
Hmm.
so much that like the gratification of everyone else being around y'all doing the same thing. But I'm gonna tell y'all now, like once you start identifying stuff and you start finding out that that ain't for you, you're
Yeah.
gonna actually see like who's still rocking with you and who's not. Like who is this with you for like that
Facts.
presentation of life, and who's not going to be there for you like going along the way when you're in the car riding. Like y'all have two different destinations, and throughout that destination there's checkpoints too, with all your
Hmm.
friends, with all your workers, with all your family members too, because you
Yeah.
might want a certain lifestyle that your family members can't understand. Up, this is the
Hmm.
checkpoint, this is the part where I gotta let y'all go, and you
Yeah.
got to be
Exactly.
okay with it.
You got to be okay. You got to be fine. Just knowing that, because I've had some people that come in and, and ask about that, especially specifically with like friends and stuff. Because I mean, I've learned, and I'm sure that you learn, certain aspects of that as well. And also too, just to say some more on that was that, even if say, oh, but I can control myself. Let's just say, yeah, they were all drinking, but you start drinking, but then you're around them while they're drinking. Like, okay, you can say you can control yourself, but want to be around them. But then comes the other question of, but why do you want to? If your foundation with them is basically built off of like drinking or partying and smoking and stuff like that, then
Mhm.
what are you really saying? Like, is it that you just want to really be with them? Like, what is that? What is that point then? Because now
Right.
you got to pinpoint that. Okay, you can control yourself without alcohol, but why you want to be around them though? Like,
Yeah.
do you still, you got a big heart? Do you see the best in them? They're not improving. See, this is people who, and it doesn't even mean to say that you gotta be disrespectful to any of these individuals. It's just to say
Right.
that our time has come.
Um,
I got things I gotta do, and you have to be able to move on from things that are not gonna benefit you. You can
yeah.
They can be great friends too, like great friends, great time, but at the same time, with your time, and what do you want to do with your time, which most
Right.
people don't think about, is what is my time and how valuable can it be for me, and how can I move it, how can I maneuver it, what can I do to improve it. See, people think on that scale of improvement, people think on the scale of wanting to be the best, motivation, right?
Hmm.
But their whole thing is to fucking feel it, bro. They want to just feel motivated. Yeah, I want to only feel like I'm consistent.
Hmm.
So, you ever heard of the phrase of 3 a.m. Motivation?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, like it's that shit. I'm gonna feel I want this 3 a.m. motivation all the time. Okay, that comes with just being honest and committed to yourself, and
Hmm.
just trusting, and like that's it. Confidence is the supreme trust that you have with yourself that's unbreakable, which becomes unmovable in this world. You're like, damn, like yeah,
Yeah.
my confidence is what it is what happens, and plus more. Boom. But that's the thing. Most people want to feel great about things. That's why maybe a lot of people could be close to the party and the dopamine, or you like the peer pressure and shit and all them type of things. It could feel like something, and maybe their whole consistency could be in just partying and stuff, or just
Yeah.
not being the best. And it's crazy, bro. But that is just like that other side. But I will be ending the live in a couple of minutes, like around 45 mark for us, up there. So, but if there's anything else that you want to say, please go ahead and do so, because this has been an amazing live, and I really want people to watch this shit. Like I might rent out a movie theater, a whole movie theater, and just play this in every screen, bro. Honestly, like
Nah,
just and
dog.
listen to that.
Yeah, I got you. And like I said, the main thing is like, this with anything that you do, you got to have a strong foundation of why you're doing this for yourself. Like,
Hmm.
you can't have it, everyone's heard of the three little pigs.
Yeah.
You build the house on straw, the wolf build his house down. You build your house on, mud or sticks, whatever that thing was called. The wolf build a house on. The little pig build their house in bricks. It's staying firm. I'm talking about like you need to have it in bricks where your foundation is that strong that it doesn't get knocked down by one little gust of wind or one little thing that throws like a little curveball your way to the point where you're just like, damn, I don't know how to move from here. You gotta
Hmm.
have your foundation solid. Like I don't care what nobody says. And the only reason you can get like that is by going deep within yourself and asking yourself, why? Why am I giving up this? Why am I don't want to do this? What kind of lifestyle do
Hmm.
I want? Why do I want this lifestyle I want? Then, like I said, when I brought in the why not part of it, you got to ask yourself, why not? Why not? Like, why not can I have this?
Hmm.
You want the best for yourself. So why don't you feel like you can't have this? That's another element that you got to go down to in your position right now. Why not do you feel is the reason why you cannot get this. And the reason why I'm saying feel because you haven't got into that mindset yet where it's become second nature where you just start moving this based off the beat. Like this
Facts.
based off like who you are. You're still in
Hmm.
this emotional state of feeling like, oh, I gotta feel like that motivation or that energy rush or that pump of adrenaline to get myself going and everything like that. Whether it's to the gym, whether it's to watch TV, whether it's to hang out with your friends, like you're trying to get yourself into that motivational thing of doing it. But when you get to that position of him, it's more so like second nature. It's like, hey, the sun coming up, hey, I'm getting up. The sun
Yeah.
coming down, I'm getting down. Like I'm wrapping up everything that I need to do. It's
Facts.
like it's
Facts.
like clockwork. You got to keep doing it. Like I said, and you got to keep asking yourself those questions. So when you actually get there, you have like a strong enough whys and why not? Like why you have that justification within yourself, which is that integrity of why you're not doing it. But like I
Hmm.
said, if I ask you one question, like hey, you want to live this lifestyle? Why you want to live this lifestyle? You can't even get past your first why.
Facts.
I'm gonna be like, you must not really want it then.
Hmm.
I
and
said,
and that's the thing, that's why when we brought up in the beginning, most people get stuck at that part right there of why, like, or like the why me or anything, that people get stuck at but wait, why do I want to be him? Or they don't never know. They hope their life will be ran on how to feel. Or why they want to feel this certain way. And most people don't really know. Jazzy, great to see you. I got my dog Jonathan is here, and
What's up, Jazz?
we chopping it up a little bit. I thought about this shit too because I wrote down popularity, and just because being him also comes with popularity, y'all. I mean, not only just like with the discipline and shit. We talked about that, but again, we ain't trying to scare nobody. I understand some people may, feel a little soft against these kind of topics, but but popularity does come, and I actually think I'm gonna make that a separate live because I started thinking about popularity and everything. Darius, great to see you. You know what I'm
My boy
saying? You receive,
KB.
yes,
Respect.
sir. But yeah, but that has been the live. If there's anything else that you want to say, you know what I'm saying, you're more than welcome to say, Jonathan. You can take the floor, speak a little bit, let them know where to get it, which you at. You know what I'm saying. But that has been a lot. We talked about the importance of being him. Hustling, improving, maintaining, honest, integrity, masculinity, honorable. Wait, what? What's? Yeah, let's just keep it honorable. Let's
Yeah,
just,
just
let's keep
yeah.
it.
I ain't got too, like I said, I ain't got too much to say. Like I said, appreciate you having me on the show.
Of
Once again,
course.
everybody, share, subscribe, like it. You trying to hit a certain threshold, so I need y'all to run up them likes. I need y'all to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend, because word of mouth is the best way to get things out. So once again, you might be seeing me in the future, but once again, subscribe to my boy's channel. He's doing big things. He got a lot of stuff in store for y'all. So can't wait to see like the growth.
Absolutely. And y'all already know Jonathan will be a part of future lives because, I've been, telling him, we all been telling him create a channel. But, I guess, in due time, whenever he's ready and everything, you know what I'm saying? We'll
For
get to that.
sure.
Kalia, great to see you. Thank you, everybody, for stopping by. We will be having some more conversations in the future. Again, like I told y'all, I am going to be aiming at doing morning shows, and you can, you wake up in the morning pretty early, yeah?
Yeah, I do.
You can be we'll talk about that in the back end and stuff, but
Okay, that's
I want
okay.
I want to aim and to do a morning show with you guys, just early brightness and shit. We're gonna see how that goes, so we're gonna be aiming for that. We got some videos coming out, great videos, future lives coming in. We got some panels happening. I'm helping this dating show that's going on every Saturday, that's going on for like about 4 weeks. So
Nice.
we doing this shit, you know what I mean? But anyways,
Yeah.
yeah, right.
Jazzy,
Jazzy says
who
still
never
waiting.
knows? You never know.
Yeah,
Stay
you see
tuned.
that? You see that? They're
Stay
saying. But
tuned.
anyways, thank you again for taking our time out. Thank you again, Jonathan, for being a part of this. Your perspective is always
Appreciate you
needed. You know what I'm
having me, my
saying?
brother.
You have great
Yes, sir.
perspectives on stuff, so you will be seeing him a lot more. But anyways, my name is All Star Izzy. Until next time, I'm gonna talk to you. We're gonna talk in the back end, bro. But
For
peace,
sure.
everybody. Remember, to shine within is to shine without. We out this thing, yes, sir.